everybody. Grant Miller here, Miami Communities. I'm pretty excited. I got two people I've been watching my whole life playing football. I got this doctor who went to Columbus, went to medical school at UM, and trained in Houston and came back. Bernie Kosar's in the house. Kenny Calhoun. He walked in. I go, I know who he is.
Right.
We all know who he is.
We all know who he is, exactly.
One of the fierce defensive backs. How much you weigh now?
230
And how much did you play at?
to 197.
You're
That's my
one
current weight. Yeah.
mean 197 D-back. You play like a linebacker.
Actually, the position was similar to an outside linebacker, the
Right.
rover position.
Right. It was like a monster. To me,
Yep,
it's like a
same
monster
thing.
back. You know, you're going where it is. Bernie Kosar played how many years in the big leagues?
12 years in the NFL.
Wow. How many years you?
0.
Zero. So you have less injuries.
Yes.
So, okay.
But the way he hit and played in the day,
Right.
okay,
Right.
We're the beneficiary with the 1983 National Championship with the clutch gene that this young man has over here.
I watch you, everybody watches it, but I was watching the DBs, and it was incredible when the DBs controlled the field.
Sure.
And I remember when Bernie owned a restaurant 2 blocks away, what was called Kosar's.
Yes.
And I remember
Food is our medicine. Still
Yeah.
living with that
and
concept.
I remember you went into the greeting card business, right?
That was something that my family did, and I was supportive of one of their failed attempts.
All right.
I had a little problem with the greeting cards and the masculinity of football
Yeah, it's all connected. All
in
right.
the locker room.
All right. So where'd you grow up?
Youngstown, Ohio.
Youngstown. Great JUCO football there, correct? Youngstown has great football there.
High school football is a big part of our mindset, yes, in Ohio.
And for us people that don't understand, Ohio has the #1 roller coaster park in the world.
Cedar Point.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
Point.
that. Everybody
It
knows
is,
that. Okay, Doc, let's talk about your company, talk about what you're doing to change people's lives.
Well, the company's name is iRegMed, which stands for Intelligent Regenerative Medicine. And we do a few different things, but the main procedure that we do is a gold-activated serum injection called Goldic procedure. It's a procedure that was invented in Germany by a physician, Dr. Schneider.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive. He's been doing it for about 17 years. He's still doing it over there. And up until very recently, if you wanted the benefits of this procedure, you had to go there to get it done. And lots of professional athletes still go there. But as of November of last year, we've brought it here to the United States. We're the first place in the United States, actually the first place in all of the Americas, North, South, or Central America, to have it here in the United States, to bring this procedure here. So we're very excited to bring this to the public here. The benefits of this are incredible.
Okay. Is it bones? Is it muscles? What? Let's use Bernie. What did it do to you?
Wow. So from my perspective, and ironically, iRegMed's opened up in November of 2025. I had a liver transplant in November of 2025. 7 months now post that. So here I am today, 62 years old, early stage dementia, Parkinsonian symptoms, liver transplant 7 months ago. Yet my cognitive abilities today have massively increased than what I was 5 to 10 years ago. And when you talk about ex-NFL players and you talk about cognitive issues, TBI, CTE, whatever your acronyms are, unfortunately, they really are real. And once they start hitting you, like they did for me, you almost never get better. So 9 years ago, I was told I have 5 years left of cognitive brain function. I couldn't say cognitive. I couldn't sit here later in the afternoon, enunciate, articulating, communicating multiple syllable words to know I'm talking to Grant Miller, Dr. Oscar, and Kenny Calhoun. The delay between a thought in my brain and it coming out of my mouth was 3 to 4 seconds. I have a thing called fencing, midbrain paralysis, that really has slowed down the ability to cognitively process things. That had amplified to such a punishingly part of my life that I couldn't do things like this later in the afternoon. I'd be too embarrassed, again, to know that I'm talking to Grant, Oscar, and Kenny, to be able to answer questions like I have. So I started this treatment. Food is our medicine, and trying to do avoid the ultra-processed, processed fast food over the last 9 years. But the science of regenerative medicine in the Gold-Dix treatments, in some of the exosomes peptide world that we're doing has massively changed my cognitive approach and to not only get my body back in the game, but get my mind back in the game.
When did you open?
We opened in November of 25.
Okay, so that's
7 months ago.
I saw you at the grand opening.
Yes.
You are completely different.
Thank you.
It's completely different.
And it's funny because thank you for noticing, but it's so clear these days, and that was just 7 months ago. The way I was 12 months ago to 7 months ago to even 2 months ago, and it's not that I'm trying to sell or anything, but it's a confirmation of the life-saving aspects of what we've accomplished here and what they've developed. And I'm very proud to have been one of the early guys to be able to figure this out.
I saw you on the internet. Then I saw you in person. It's like a rebirth. I mean, your face, your eyes, everything is like,
Color.
All right, so we'll get back to you. Tell me what they did. You were one of the hardest hitting defensive backs ever in college football.
Correct.
I mean, I was a spectator, and when they were coming your way, wide receiver coming, I go, that guy's he's an idiot.
Here comes.
He better not. Kenny's coming to get you.
Absolutely.
So you hit fierce.
Hey, and before you answer anything, I got to say, that's exactly why Kenny was one of the first guys I called, because I love him, and I knew, we mask it. He never complains. But watching him play football, okay, back in the early 80s, with the violence that we played in it.
I remember coming up, somebody coming across the middle, I go, oh, that man is going to get hurt. So,
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm a big fan of defensive backs because they control the game. Everybody thinks the defensive lineman, you're the last savior of the football team.
Sure.
So what injuries did you have, and what is this thing doing for you?
So actually, I had a head injury, a orbit bone fracture against Notre Dame,
First night game ever at Notre Dame.
That's right.
Yes.
And we
On
won our
ESPN.
first time winning at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just the pain, from
What bone did you break?
orbit bone in my eye. Yeah, blowout fracture. Went up on a toss sweep, took out the fullback and made the play for a 3-yard loss. Got up, looked around, and I saw 2 fields, so I had to jog off the field. The back of my eye was caught in the fracture, so it wouldn't go up and down or this way. It was just looking straight ahead. That was one eye. So, the pain from the hitting, the joint pain. Bernie introduced us to introduce our chat to iRegMed, and I'd say, Bernie, let's go. I was like the first one, to accept the call. Bernie said, hey, I got help for you. I have pain in my shoulder that was treated.
Wait. Treated. You suffered pain, but it's not like now. It's fixed. You feel better.
It's not like now. I'm fixed and better. Wow. Yes.
Because you came up fierce like a freight train.
Correct.
They didn't want to run to your side.
That's right.
It must have been brutal at practice, huh? Because back then you hit.
Oh, practice. So fortunately, Coach Schnellenberger did not allow them to hit the quarterbacks. But what he did, and I love you, Coach, but he really shortened lifetimes of the other players. I mean, the defensive intensity and the inside drill practices that these guys had to survive through. It's actually amazing that you look so good and so
Thank you, Bernie.
cognitively present.
Appreciate it.
All right, so when did you start the treatment?
The end of the treatment, I started in April. The last treatment that I had was April 16th. I followed doctor's orders and, just didn't do much for a couple weeks. Laid off my physical routine. So after that, the layoff, I went back, lowered my weight by 20 pounds and just resumed my workouts. At that point, I didn't feel the pain that I once did. And every week since then is getting better.
How long did you live with that pain?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I don't know how old you are.
63.
63.
Yeah.
And you finished playing football what?
Oh, this is
22?
yes.
So
Yes.
40 plus years you've been living with that kind of pain.
Yeah.
struggling to get out of bed, all that stuff. Can't move
Well,
your
not
shit.
struggling, just sleeping, angles. I wasn't a good night's sleep, and I got, treated for it before, a couple shots, but, that came back. So it just is something that was constant chronic pain in my shoulder.
Yeah, a lot of the other treatments, a steroid injection is the classic thing that they would do for something like this, and that really, it makes you feel better, but it doesn't really fix very much. It just kind of gets rid of the inflammation, and you don't feel it as much, so you can keep going, but you're not healed.
That's how my shoulder feels right
if
now.
you don't mind me adding, though, like in 1983, 84, through my 12 years in the NFL, you call it steroid injections. Really, they're called cortisone shots in the day. Okay. Medicine and technology has gotten so much better. They are still giving kids and adults the same cortisone shots today that me and Kenny got 40 plus years ago. Please, anybody listening, never get a cortisone shot. Whether you come see us or not, don't punish yourself, because I actually challenge that you actually do get better from it, and you for sure with the cortisone shots atrophy and calcify those affected joints.
Yeah. No, in the long run, there's no question that the cortisone shots are not good for you, and you're right. If you can stay away from them, stay away from them.
So you're going to
100%.
if you get a steroid shot, it's only going to help you a short period of time.
You may feel better for a short
not.
time.
For you, Grant, okay, as an older man, we don't need the sugar spikes, okay, that the cortisone's, right? I'm sounding like the wannabe doc
That's
that
exactly
I am.
right.
Okay, I did
There's
business
a
school,
lot
but
of
you
side
have
effects,
my-
and the more you get, the worse the side effects are.
Yes.
And the bottom line is that it doesn't fix anything. It just kind of hides the
it.
problem,
Yeah.
blocks it, and makes you feel like you can do something, but you're really still damaging yourself.
Okay, so these two gentlemen are much better. Exactly what is the process? What does it do to your body?
Well, the process is, if you're going to have the procedure done, especially the Goldic procedure, the gold activated serum, you come in, you have a consultation with us, and we figure out exactly what you need, because everybody's different. Obviously, you have some people that need a shoulder injection, some people that do better with an IV infusion. We figure out what it is you need, or what combination of things you need. If you decide to go forward with the treatment, we draw your blood, and that blood gets treated with the gold. It takes about 24 hours.
When you say gold, what do you mean by
We're using gold nanoparticles. It's actual gold that sits with your blood. It gets incubated for about 20 to 24 hours. And what the gold does is it stimulates the blood to upregulate several different proteins and cytokines and growth factors and all these things that already live in your blood. It just upregulates them. Sometimes by up to 20 times. So you're increasing the amount of all these good things that are already in your blood. These things are all trying to help you already, and we're increasing their amounts in the blood. So after the incubation period, we spin the blood and we actually separate all the cellular stuff out. So we take out all the red blood cells, the white blood cells. We take out the gold. We don't inject the gold, because gold is actually bad for you if you inject it. And what we're left with is the serum, which is just the liquid part of the blood. And inside that serum is all those proteins and cytokines and all those interleukins and growth factors and everything that we stimulated. And that's what we inject back into you. And again, we can inject it in your shoulder. We can inject it in your vein. We can do drops in your eyes. There's multiple different ways to give it back to you. But all of those things that we increased go back into your body, and they do several things. They decrease inflammation. They stimulate cells to come in and clean out dead and damaged tissue. And they stimulate other cells to come back and help to grow new tissue. So because it does that whole range of things, the level of regeneration of tissue that we see with this is unlike what we see with anything else. So we don't see this with stem cells. We don't see it with exosomes alone. We don't see it with steroid injections, obviously. We see this level of regeneration that we don't get. Now, when we combine it with some of those other ones, especially exosomes, we're seeing very, very powerful results.
And I'm the
combine the two
beneficiary
therapies,
of those results of combining the two.
The combination of exosomes and the Goldic procedure seems to give us better results than either one of the two alone.
So, man, 56-year-old woman says, I'm just tired. I'm beat up. My body's sore. Like, I wake up now, I got injuries all over. I call them injuries, just
Yeah,
beaten up.
chronic
Pain.
Yeah.
So I come to you and say, Doc, what can you do? So do you examine me? How do you decide?
Well,
if
yeah,
I
we
do
do-
injection?
We do a full consultation, and depending on if you have specific areas that we want to look at, we may order an MRI, just to see exactly what's going on in certain areas. There are some places where you want to know exactly what's happening before you do an injection, and that's what determines a treatment plan: is the consultation and the imaging studies.
So let's say you did injection, you did veins. How long's the procedure? It's just you put it in. How long?
So the procedure, the way it works is once we have the blood, the serum ready, it's a series of 4 injections, and they're done every other day, or as close to every other day as possible. So the whole thing takes, a minimum of 8 days, for the procedure. Some people start to feel results by the 2nd or 3rd injection. Other people, it takes a few months to really see the results. This continues to work out for at least 6 months and probably past that. So we're getting effects in the body for a pretty long time afterwards. And everyone's different. Some people, like I said, respond very quickly. Other people take a little bit longer. But the response rate is very high. We're seeing well above 90% in terms of success rate in helping people.
Recovery time. You said you took it easy after that.
Right.
Is your
Yeah, there's really not much recovery. We do recommend taking it easy because
what's taking it easy?
not doing any super strenuous exercise.
Oh, gotcha.
Like no heavy weightlifting. Sure. And that's the hard part for a lot of people, especially some of our athletes really have trouble taking a week off. But what's happening is
it's a mindset.
It's a mindset. When you're doing this procedure to try to heal, you want to avoid stuff that's hurting. So that's why we ask people to kind of take it easy for a week or two so that we give the medicine the best possible chance of working. It's not that there's a contraindication, but if you're going to go through this and have it all done, you want to get the best result possible. So give yourself a week or two of recovery time and let the medicine really work well.
It doesn't have to be an athlete. It could be anybody.
Anybody. Yeah.
Now, you've been open less than a year. Yeah. Who's your clientele? Are they men? Are they women? Are they old or young?
We get everything. We get young athletes. We get older people with arthritis. We have a lot of pickleball players here in Miami, so we get a lot of pickleball injuries. We get a lot of athletes now that are coming, former and current athletes. So we get a pretty broad range. I can tell you, Dr. Schneider, the guy who invented this in Germany, his practice is heavily focused on back pain. Ours is not that much. We get more joints and knees and shoulders and elbows. But we're starting to get more back now, so we'll see how it turns out.
It's incredible how it really modulates inflammation within the orthopedic joints. Cognitively, I looked at Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's as a inflammation of the brain. So, like if it was an ACL or a swollen ankle, you'd want to put a bag of ice on it, modulate the inflammation on it. Same principle in the dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's world. We really believe that the gold dick and the exosome kind of combination of that has modulated inflammation within my brain. So the Parkinsonian symptoms, I was actually diagnosed with Parkinson's. Now I believe it's Parkinsonian symptoms. It's done that big a change for me. The dementia, the early stage dementia stuff, and the fencing issues within here have become so drastically minimized that it's generally game-changing to have my mind and body back in the game, like I said earlier. And it's actually, too, to the diversity of people we treat, from the facial aesthetics perspective, as you
look younger now.
I mentioned that to you
7 months ago. You look you're a beat. You look like you're back in the game.
Well, before we started on there, you joked about the wrinkles as older men here. What people have done from the facial aesthetics hair growth perspective? And
you and I need that.
I can use it, but there's a whole cosmetic purpose behind this medicine as well. People can do it, injections in the face, and
I was doing some too, as Dr. Sosa mentioned, the eye drops, things like that. Putting them in for the eyes, right? The brainstem is right behind if it gets through the retina. So to modulate the inflammation was one of the tests that happened. So not only did I cognitively improve, which I believe was modulating the inflammation, but my eyesight got better. So reading the font on these type things became actually doable again without bifocals and glasses.
Well, the beauty of this is that even when you inject it into a joint, you always get a systemic response because this is actually stimulating your bone marrow. All those things that I talked about that this stimulates your body to do is through your bone marrow activation. So there's always a systemic reaction to it. And we have lots of patients that come in and get a knee injection, but their shoulder pain goes away. Or they inject their hip because you're getting a systemic response as well.
I got to ask you a question, but the first question people are going to ask, does insurance cover it?
It's not covered by insurance, and it's not FDA approved yet in the United States.
But the process to make this is FDA approved,
Right.
because FDA approval in our country is a little backwards right now, where you can only get FDA approval if it's a drug. This is not a drug.
Right.
This isn't psychoactive. This is, you mentioned medicine before. I kind of would maybe challenge that word, because it's not a drug. So but the FDA, to show it's not a drug, the FDA process of how you make that is approved. But it'll never be FDA approved because it's not a drug. And it's from a guy who sadly post-football career did too many drugs. I'm proud to have not drank or done a pill in 9 years, yet still been able to get better.
Well, there is an equivalent to the FDA in Germany, and it does have that approval in Germany. So it's just a matter of time until we get some sort of approval here. But for now, it is considered experimental by them. Just like stem cells, just like exosomes, they're all considered experimental. None of them is covered by insurance. So we're in that world right now.
Okay. How do you feel about your whole body on this?
And the whole body feels great. Energy, like Bernie talked, cognitive, strength, everything
Can your family see the difference?
Yes.
Families can see the difference. That's
My
really,
wife and family sees the difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the beautiful things about this. When we see the patients come back, especially when they come back with family members, it's incredible to hear the results.
I had a couple beautiful ones the last month or so where we've done a couple 90-day trials with about 65 NFL players or
That came into South Miami.
These are through our programs and stuff. But one of the things that's really been amazing with this is the amount of people that have these results like this. So to be able now to share this now, it's been game changing to get this many people now getting these results.
Yeah, it's very fulfilling to have people come back to you and tell you stuff like this.
Yeah.
You feel great that you've been able to do this, and it affects the families. It affects everybody that they know.
To the point where I've had a couple guys finish their 90-day program, think that they are fine and don't need to keep going, or a couple weren't sure how some of the results were. And then their wives called me 3 weeks later and say, send me more stuff. He's going back on it.
Right.
Because they noticed the difference when they weren't doing it. And even with myself, I know we're on camera and it's easy to pretend to be normal on TV and stuff. But my back a year, 2, 3 ago, when something went south in my day or in my plan, the ability to be cognitively present and handle change, Grant, wasn't there.
Well, when you were on the internet talking about your liver issue, you could see it. You were just barely functioning, and now
I was barely alive.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically passed less than a year ago, and now if I don't talk about any of that stuff, you can't even tell. Matter of fact, I feel healthier than the healthy old men that hang out with me.
All right, I got to get back to you.
And you keep getting better.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
keep
This
improving
keeps
and-
working.
Before this, did you feel depressed? How was it mentally before you started doing this?
Well,
Were you functioning? You were functioning because you have a family, but how did you feel?
Well, listen, I didn't feel as energetic. My brain function, the thinking, the clarity wasn't as clear. So I just didn't feel the way I wanted to feel. And by the treatments and the exomes, it really gave me the energy. When you're in the gym, when you're working out, you just feel more power. It's kind of like hard to explain, but you just have some energy that wasn't there before, and it just throughout the whole process of the workout, it's amazing.
So why did?
Hey, before you go on, thank you for asking that question. I wanted to hear Kenny's answer, but from a mental health perspective, and men in particular, it was taboo for men our age to say that we're indecisive, afraid, not sleeping, self-doubt, those type things.
Self-doubt's a good word.
those are all amplified within me for sure. And the ability to now do this and have your confidence again, to sit here and be able to get on an airplane today and do what we did and still be here. And again, I keep saying, Grant, that wasn't easy to remember all the names before, and to be able to sit here and talk and be able to easily find it within, your head. It just wasn't like that.
I know you're going to dinner tonight with your former offensive lineman. Make sure he pays. Dave, you hear that? Dave Heffernan, not on. You're going to pay. If you don't pay the first time, you're going to have to pay the second time. So why Germany figured this out? Why can't somebody in the United States? Why, these great inventions are from Germany? Why?
I'll tell you, the only thing that I don't know is the answer, but the only thing I can think of is Dr. Snyder, who's the inventor, is a special human being. There's very few people who come at medicine from the direction that he came from, because he was a rheumatologist first. Well, first of all, he also has a history of severe orthopedic injuries himself. So this was also him trying to help himself in the beginning. But he came at this from a rheumatologist, which is a very medicine-based, specialty, and then became an orthopedic surgeon, which is the exact opposite.
So he went back.
Basically,
he went
carpenters.
back 6 more years.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So he's got both sides. So very few physicians have that variety of training behind them. And yeah, he came up with the idea. He tested it. He started out just to try to help heal injuries, and then kept finding out that it was helping more with cognition, helping with allergies, helping with thyroid function. So the more we look into it, the more we see it helps several different disease processes.
We're treating confidentially some people with MS.
Yeah.
Wow.
Multiple sclerosis.
So this is...
There's very few things that it doesn't help. It seems like it seems to cause some kind of a reset of your whole body, but including your immune system. So all these autoimmune diseases, it seems to have some kind of effect where it kind of just stops it and sets you back to normal.
Okay, I asked you before, what did you specialize in medicine?
My specialty is actually in vascular and interventional radiology. So my specialty is in doing image-guided procedures.
How many years did you go after medical school? How many more years of training?
After medical school is 6 years.
Wow. Okay, so... Are you kind of blown away when you figure
This is
it's mind-boggling to me.
When I started this in November and I met Dr. Snyder and decided to do this with him, I thought it would be good, but I never expected it to be as good as it is. And the degree of success that we've had, the benefits that we've given people, has even surprised me. And I know I sit here when I do consultations with patients and I talk, and I know I sound crazy telling them all these things, but this has been the experience, and once we got to about the 2 to 3 month mark after, we started in November, about 2 to 3 months where we started to see the real results, I was just blown away by the success and how well this actually works.
The way it sounds,
it sounds like a miracle.
Correct.
And I know I sound crazy saying it, but
first
it really is.
It was injuries.
I'm a walking example.
Yeah.
It is a miracle. I mean, there's no way I should.
And the thing is, it's not like Bernie's not the only one.
Yeah.
We have lots of people that have had miraculous recoveries. Things that they've been told, just live with it. This is yours for the rest of your life.
Please don't accept those diagnoses. Please don't.
And as a physician, I was trained to believe those things, to think that once you had this problem, you were done. That's all you were going to. There's no cure for that. You have to live with that.
Or you're going to take these drugs for the rest of your life.
It's just not true.
You get those descriptions, those diagnoses, you'd be so remiss not to call Doc over here.
Yeah, it's just not true anymore. You have options, and it's worth looking into at least, because the other beauty of this is that we're not injecting you with anything foreign. This is not some strange medicine that we're getting from somewhere. It's not made in a lab. There's nothing weird here. This is your blood that we take out and we put back into you. We're putting you back into you. It's just been supercharged a little bit so that it helps you to heal yourself. And that's the goal behind all of these new regenerative medicine
the-
treatments is to help your body heal itself.
Yeah, one of the things that as us older men hear and we get fixated on testosterone as we get older, we don't make as much of it. Well, very similar with the proteins and cytokines that Dr. Sosa was saying. We really don't make much more of them as we get older, but they still lay dormant within your blood. So what Dr. Sosa's doing is really reactivating the sleeping dormant cytokines and protein within your
Sign it up.
body. Right?
Thank you.
There's
But it's just medicine. It's like, you know, the magic medicine, but it's not medicine, magic drug.
It's you. It's yourself.
You're just-
you are just healing. This is helping your body to heal yourself.
I
is
call
what
it the
is.
human biological approach. Get your body in the best position capable for your body to heal itself.
All right, we're going
Because
to
there's no surgeon or doctor that can heal you better than you can heal yourself.
Okay.
We just got to give you the best atmosphere possible.
So
for it.
Dr. Snyder, we're going to close this up. Dr. Snyder founded this 14 years ago.
17
17
more or
years
less.
ago. And it took 16 years to come to the United States.
Yeah, that's another story behind that. He told me just the other day. I didn't realize why it took him so long. But he tried once before and had some trouble with his partner here, where he ran into some issues. It actually took one of the partners in the business right now, whose wife had to go and be a patient over in
We're
in Germany.
super blessed. Peter
Yeah.
and Gina Gardner have done
She was at that grand opening.
Yeah.
Yes,
I remember. I talked to her.
She was a professional triathlete. She was, almost qualified for the Olympics. Very high level athlete who had bad Achilles tendon problems, and again was told basically that she was out of luck. She had surgery, failed surgery, all sorts of problems, and went to Dr. Schneider in Germany, and 6 months later, she had absolutely no pain in her Achilles. Now her birthday's coming up, and she's planning on running a 5-minute mile for her birthday. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's always a pleasure, Bernie. Kenny, again, I watch your stuff. You were one bad dude.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
He was the pretty boy. He's got the big offensive lineman. He's got Juan Camadera. He got Dave Heffernan. Scholar athlete. James Swigert. I'm not gonna get Bernie hurt.
And to that, you're exactly right. Thank you, Grant. For my University of Miami offensive line, they let me play as a pretty boy. I did not get hurt. All of my injuries came post leaving the U. Okay.
All right,
Yes.
hey everybody. Let's have a great day. Have any questions, Dr. Sosa? Incredible what you're doing. You're changing people's lives.
Thank
so
you very much.
everybody, have a great day.
have a good day.
You